What's up everyone, it's Caddy with Money Vesting. So I feel like we're coming in full circle with this stock. I've been getting a lot of questions on this company, so I figured I'd do a video. I have covered this stock on my channel before. In fact, I've cautioned people away from this stock. I pretty much mentioned that be careful, beware of this stock. This is not what you think it is. And I will be giving you guys an update on this company, talking about it, and where I currently stand with this company moving forward. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and find it helpful. If you do, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and a link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining us. And definitely check out the links down below for fundamental and technical analysis courses as well. They're currently 40% off for the entire bundle for St. Patrick's Day, and the 16% annual discount available on Discord as well. You'll get access to all the alerts and, of course, a lot of the private videos and benefits and Excel spreadsheets and downloadable stuff as well. So the company in question today, I actually did a video on them 8 months ago. This was a video on my channel 8 months ago. I pretty much titled it, "Be Very Careful with This Stock." And that was none other than Zim Integrated Shipping. This is a screenshot of that exact video where we were going over Zim Integrated Shipping. We had the red mic back then, so good old days. But it was trading at around $44.55. From that video, Zim Integrated Shipping, by the way, this right here was when the video came out. First time, July 18th, I believe was that date, July 10th, 2022. So around that time, and of course, from those prices, it's dropped about 43%. At one point, it was down a little bit over 60%. From those prices, dropping all the way down to low $16 a share. There was another video that I did 6 months ago. This was from back in September. Updated analysis on Zim Integrated Shipping. Once again, beware of this stock because of the fact that the yield, the dividend yield, was the big attraction with this stock, right? Everybody was like, the dividend yield is so good. Like, dividend yield is 70%, 80%. The price keeps on dropping lower and lower, and you get a higher and higher yield. Everybody was like, hey, it's exciting, right? 100% dividend yield. I definitely want to buy this stock. Well, it's an illusion. You have to really be careful because we talked about the company's fundamentals. We talked about the company's financial statements and also how it is very much dependent on the shipping rates, because Zim Integrated Shipping at the end of the day is a shipping company. Depends very much on the shipping rates themselves. And at the time, back when I did the second video on September 16, 2022, the shipping rate was at $4,653 for the Baltic Shipping Index. And at the time, price was trading roughly around $30, $29 to $30. Pretty much dropped 40% from those levels down to $16, still down from those levels 19, 20%. But I read a post from Charlie Bilio today, about 13 hours ago, talking about the global container freight rates. Cost of 40-foot containers are now lower than they were in January of 2020. So we are now at a lower rate than pre-COVID. So before the pandemic, we are now at a lower price point than before COVID. So January 17th, 2020, we were at $1,581 for a 40-feet container. That went all the way up to $11,000. All right, and I'll go over some of the numbers for Zim Integrated Shipping and how they absolutely exploded. The earnings went up 10x, revenue went up 3 times, and free cash flow went up 5 times, in my opinion. As far as I can remember, I'll go over that in just a minute. But 2023, we are now sitting as of March 17th at $1,463. This is exactly why I posted those videos and why I was so concerned with Zim Integrated Shipping's fundamentals. 87% drop in the shipping rates because it was not sustainable. That's plain and simple. It was just not sustainable for the rates to be as high as they were and for Zim Integrated Shipping to keep paying out these enormous amounts in dividends and keep generating those revenues. So if you come over to the financials of Zim Integrated Shipping, you'll notice a very, very simple trend. In fact, we covered that in my first video. If you go back and watch it, we talked about how the revenue pre-COVID was flat. It was every single year they were doing $2.5 to $3 billion. That was it. It was pretty flatlined. There was no growth. And then pandemic happened 2021. They did over $10.7 billion. That's a 3 times growth. And in 2022, they did $12.5 billion. Gross profit, take a look at this. Literally exploded, right? They were doing millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and that number jumped from 200 million, 300 million to over $6.8 billion. And then $7.8 billion in 2022. Let's take a look at their bottom line, net income, right? Similar thing. Two very, very strong bars to the upside of generating over $4.6 billion. And that's grown from $2.3 million. And that, even before COVID in 2020, they did $518 million. And that number almost went up 9x, 10x, $4.6 billion. If you take a look at their EBITDA, same thing. They went to 5.8 and over $6 billion. If you come over to their levered cash flow, so levered free cash flow is after paying for all their obligations, their debt obligations, you'll notice a levered free cash flow is sitting at $4.5 billion as of 2022 and up from $3.5 billion, and that's up from $567 million, right? So if you do the multiple there, 357, actually let's just do 4,577 divided by 567, 8 times. They've grown their free cash flows 8 times. Why? Because the freight index peaked at over 11,000. And that's how quickly the stock pretty much rallied, right? I mean, just a few years ago, Zim Integrated Shipping was at $6. It rallied all the way up to $60 in a span of 1 year. 1 year and a few months. So in a span of 14 months, the stock rallied over 870, almost 900%. And you had some enormous dividends. And then after that, it obviously just came right back down. Now let's just analyze it where we are now, right? What does the future look like for Zim Integrated Shipping? So if you go over to the earnings forecast and what the earnings expectations are from this company, you'd imagine, right, everything will now start to stabilize. It'll start to normalize for Zim Integrated Shipping, right? No longer are the days where shipping rates are 11,000, 12,000 per 40 feet container. Now these rates have dropped and they're now actually from pre-COVID levels even lower. So now the forecast doesn't look super great, right? If you take a look at the numbers, negative EPS, $2.54 in 2023, 2024 negative $2.37, and 2025 negative $3.42. Revenue is expected to decline by 49% this year and then stay at 6.5 billion and then somewhat expected to grow in 2025, but they're still expected to generate a negative EPS, in other words, a loss, net loss for 2025. If you come over to some of the estimates for, and by the way, you can just take a look at their trend, quarter over quarter trend. Look at that decline in revenue and the earnings, right? Coming down pretty substantially. And if you take a look at their annual forecast for EPS, it's the same thing, right? Negative 77 cents on TradingView expected for 2023, 2024, negative 245 and negative $1.94. And this is going to be their sales numbers, 6.7, 6.9, and 7.6. So slight modest increase in sales, but not a lot of growth expected in earnings. And the thing is, they were actually paying out of their earnings in the first place, right? Their payout ratio was pretty substantial. They were paying out, $27.55 in dividends per share. Where do you think that was coming from? That was coming from the free cash flow, the earnings that the company was generating, right? Substantial amount because of the growth in the shipping rates. Now that that's gone, well, guess what? The dividend's going to get cut eventually if their company is not able to generate positive free cash flow and positive net income. In other words, earnings. So if those things decline, I really don't find a lot of attractiveness towards Zim Integrated Shipping. I mean, I never really did. I mean, if you were during that COVID times when the prices were going higher from a shipping standpoint, then great, you made your money. But right now, it's a very, very tough call because it's mostly dependent on a commodity, which is shipping rates, right? If shipping rates go up, they do well. If shipping rates don't go higher, they don't do well. Right. And that's why, the lesson really to be learned here and something that I think you can take away from this video is when you are trading commodity stocks, when you are trading stocks that are directly linked with some type of commodity, right? Whether it's an oil stock, whether it's a shipping stock, whether it's a gold stock, whatever commodity you're trading, you have to understand if the commodity itself is really volatile, if it moves like very aggressively, goes up and down pretty in a volatile fashion, and the company's revenues, earnings, and everything are also going to be incredibly volatile, right? You're going to find fluctuations in the company's revenues and earnings because they are completely dependent on the price of the commodity, right? So think about oil companies last year, right? I talked about how energy this year going to 2023 is going to potentially be a good short proposition because the companies are not going to be able to achieve that type of growth. Again, the comparables are not going to be that great as oil prices are coming down. Energy prices, energy stocks should also roll over as the fundamentals start to play through. And guess what? We're starting to see that. In fact, there was a time when oil prices were already down 40% and energy stocks were still stable at all-time highs, right? So those are the discrepancies that we have to understand, that if you are looking at commodity stocks, if you're looking at companies that are very much linked to a commodity, then you are pretty much dependent on that commodity price itself, because that's what's going to dictate the company's fundamentals in the first place. And you have to ask yourself a question, right? Are the revenues sustainable, right? Can the company replicate this in the years to come? Well, same thing with Zim Integrated Shipping, right? You go over to the financials and you talk about, okay, can the company actually do $10.7 billion of revenue or $12.5 billion of revenue? And can they repeat that for the years to come? The answer was no, right? Because it all depends on the shipping rates. If they come down, revenues and earnings will come down as well. And if the answer is no, it's a trade and not an investment. All right. So from a long-term perspective, it doesn't quite make sense for me. Sure. I mean, Zim Integrated Shipping, you never know, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years down the road, let's say shipping rates once again go back up, and then we can reevaluate. But it becomes more of a technical trade as opposed to anything else. And right now, it's still in this downtrending channel, so lower highs and lower lows. But one interesting pattern that I was able to identify for Zim is that it's got this left shoulder, it's got a pretty big head, and it's got a potential right shoulder with a neckline sitting right there for this stock. So it's possible that we do get a potential technical breakout. Again, we'll see if that happens on heavy volume. But again, just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on Zim Integrated Shipping, because I've been getting a lot of questions for an updated analysis on this company as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. And for me, unfortunately, it's going to be a pass at this point, but I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on this company and, you know, shipping rates and all that stuff. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about Zim Integrated Shipping? And hopefully you guys did get something valuable out of this video. If you did, make sure that you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.